Welcome! Today we're diving into a question that is so basic, so fundamental, we almost never stop to actually ask it. And yet, it's at the core of pretty much everything we think we know.
I mean, think about it. We use logic constantly, right? To make choices, to win arguments, just to get through the day. But where did it come from? Is logic a tool that we humans invented? Or is it something we just discovered? Something that was already out there, part of the universe itself?
And this isn't just some dusty old philosophical question anymore. Modern AI brings it right into the spotlight. You can ask an AI a question and it can spit out a perfectly logical answer. But it's not reasoning the way we do. It's all just incredibly complex math. The logic just kinda emerges from the system. Which really makes you wonder, maybe logic isn't the starting point. Maybe it's a result of something else. So to figure this out, we're gonna tackle it in the most logical way possible, of course. First, we need to get on the same page and define what we're even talking about. Then we'll explore the two big camps, the idea that logic is a mental construct versus the idea that it's a property of reality. And then we're gonna wrap up by pushing this whole thing to its absolute limit with one final, pretty mind-bending question.
Okay, first things first. Before we can argue about where logic comes from, we have to agree on what logic even is.
And you know, this definition right here tells us something absolutely crucial. Logic isn't really about finding some kind of ultimate universal truth. It's a process. It's a system, a tool for building new knowledge. But, and this is the key part, it has to start with a foundation of assumptions that we all agree on. We call those axioms. Think of it like you're building with Legos. The axioms are the basic bricks. First, we both have to agree that, yep, a 2x4 brick is a 2x4 brick. That's step one. Only after we agree on the basic pieces can we start clicking them together to build an argument step by step. And the whole point isn't just to prove you're right, but to build something new, to arrive at a new understanding we couldn't see before. See, if we start with different bricks, different assumptions, the things we build are never going to look the same. Okay, so that leads us perfectly into the first major theory. If logic is totally dependent on these agreed-upon starting points, well, does that mean it's something that only exists inside our heads? Is it just a tool we invented to try and make sense of a messy universe? This quote really gets to the heart of it. The idea here is that reality, the actual universe, is constantly moving, shifting, and changing. It's total chaos. And our brains, well, they can't really handle that directly. So what does the mind do? It takes a mental snapshot. It hits the pause button to freeze a little piece of reality. So if you follow this line of thinking, the universe is this wild, flowing river, and our mind scoops out a bucket of water to study it. Logic is a set of tools we use to analyze what's in the bucket. The logic doesn't exist out there in the river itself. It only exists for the stable, frozen sample that we've created in our own minds. But what if we've got that completely backwards? Let's flip over to the other side of this debate. What if logic isn't a tool we invented at all, but a fundamental law of the universe that we're just discovering? This is such a powerful counterargument. The ancient Greek word cosmos literally means order. The very name we have for the universe implies that it isn't just a bunch of random chaos. It suggests there's an underlying system, an inherent order, a kind of cosmological logic built into the very fabric of everything. So here are the two views side by side. Is logic something we invent in our minds to try and make a model of reality? Or is it a fundamental law we discover that actually governs reality? In this second view, our human logic, with all its rules and systems, isn't the real thing. It's just our finite human attempt to understand a tiny piece of the infinite, grand logic of the cosmos itself. And this whole debate, looking at both sides, it really forces us to bump up against the very limits of what we can understand. It pushes us toward a final, truly massive question. You've probably heard the old story about the blind men and the elephants, and it is perfect for this. Reality, the cosmos, is the elephant, and we, with our limited human systems of logic, are the blind men. One of us grabs the tail and says, "An elephant is like a rope."
Another feels the leg and says, no, it's like a tree. Each of us is grasping a tiny, true piece, but we're completely missing the whole picture.
So, this leads us to the real challenge, the question that pushes the boundaries. Our logic seems to run on cause and effect, right? If A, then B. One thing follows another. So, what happens if you take away time and space? Can logic even exist?
This idea could shatter our whole framework. It suggests that logic as we know it might be completely tied to the way we experience the universe. A universe with a before and an after, a here and a there. If you get rid of sequence, if you get rid of location, does our whole system of logic just fall apart?
And so that's where we're left. We started with what seemed like a simple question, where does logic come from? And we've ended up right at the edge of what our minds can even begin to imagine. If our logic is just a ladder that we built to help our small, finite minds climb up and get a better view of an infinite reality, what happens when we get to the very last rung? What's out there beyond the reach of our ladder? Now that is something to think about.